Let's come back home to Nigeria and talk about the member representing Gwe West, Gwe East in the House of Representatives. Mark Gbillah has dragged the Independent National Electoral Commission to court for listing his name as candidate of both the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, and the Labour Party for Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Gbillah, while addressing journalists in Abuja, maintained that he is the Labour Party's candidate for Benue Northwest in 2023, as he had resigned his membership of the NNPP and documents in that regard had been submitted to INEC. The lawmaker accused the Benue state government as being behind INEC's erroneous duplication of his name in the recently published list of presidential and senatorial candidates.
Where I have issues with INEC is the fact that I believe they should be more efficient in their consideration of facts before them. Even if they went to their portal and they saw that my name was still on the NNPP portal as the candidate, they should have referred to documents. I also have CTCs from INEC itself that show, that include my letter of withdrawal and affidavit of withdrawal from the NNPP. So it goes without saying that an efficient organization should have known that they would have reached out to the NNPP to say, we have this in our records, why is the person's name still there?
All right, we have Honorable Gbillah here in our studios to shed more light on these discrepancies, I would say, that, you know, is trailing your candidacy for Gwe Northwest Senatorial District now.
No, it's actually Benue Northwest.
Yeah, Benue Northwest, yes.
Senatorial District, which we call Zone B in Benue.
Why are you seeing, is it the hand of Esau, the voice of Jacob, and the hands of Esau in this situation now?
Okay, let me use this opportunity to correct the intro of your news item. I did not say the Benue State government was behind it. My reference to the Benue State government was the fact that there was a fake news item on an online media called FirstTVNigeria.com that claimed that INEC sent a letter to me saying I am ineligible to contest the election because I submitted my name to 2 political parties. Now, it is interesting to note that the owner of that online media is a senior special assistant to the governor, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue State. So I am well within my rights to be of the opinion that he could not have done that without the permission of his principal. And it behoves on the governor and his administration to disown that publication by the governor's senior special assistant. Now, with regards to specifics of the issue, INEC cannot disqualify a candidate except by the judgment of a court of competent jurisdiction or as is expressly provided for in the Electoral Act or the Constitution. Now, what transpired when INEC published that name is unfortunate because INEC, as we speak, sent a CTC to me that had a copy of my withdrawal as candidate, as the NNPP's candidate for that same election. And INEC is in possession of its own report that shows that INEC conducted a rescheduled primary to replace me, where a certain Akko Aondove Francis emerged. Now, why I am aggrieved and I've taken INEC and NNPP to court is, you see, they have given this issue an unnecessary controversy that should have been tackled from the start. And they are now making the PDP in Benue, whose stock in trade recently is to be taking candidates to court. They are now going to make spurious court cases be brought up against me.
Right.
So, but I'm going to be suing for damages and recompense of whatever expenditure I expend, because it is not any fault of mine. And the provision in the act they're referring to, Section 35, talks about if you knowingly nominate yourself as a candidate in 2 political parties. In this particular instance, you can see that I did not even have any knowledge that my name was still on their portal as the NNPP's candidate, because I had done what was statutorily required by resigning my membership of the NNPP and then withdrawing.
This clarity, it comes really handy, because some people would say probably this, mix-up that we're seeing might have even come from you, because at the end of the day, you were a 2-time PDP member of the House of Representatives from 2015, and now you want to go to the upper chamber. Just in May, you lost the primaries for senatorial ticket. You moved to the NNPP. From May till now, you've moved from the NNPP also to the Labour Party. So this error that INEC had made, have you tried to find other ways to resolve it other than litigation, which is draining, not just for you, but for everyone?
Okay, so let me put it in the right context, Amaka. Unfortunately, we don't have independent candidacy, so I have to run on a platform of a party. And the outcome of the primaries in the PDP, and actually I started my foray into the legislature in the APC before we left to join the PDP because of the circumstances within the party. So I have been in the position during the primary where extraneous influences within the state affected the outcome of the primary. And I am now running for the Senate because, first of all, apart from the fact that I believe I have the capacity and the legislative experience to perform in that office, I am also better favored because of our local circumstances of equity and zoning, where they say, "Ya Nawangba," and I come from a local government that has not produced the senator before in the history of the state. So that also is what works in our favor. So when those extraneous influences, I said, forced me not to emerge as the candidate for the House of Reps, I said, well, so if I have paid my dues to the party, it's interesting to note that the PDP, which some of us stood vehemently in support of, left us hanging to dry when it was more important. Some of us lost out in the House. I did not get any position as a chairman or deputy because I stood with the party, but that party did not stand for me when it mattered most at the time. So obviously, it is well within my fundamental
Which is understandable,
human rights.
but my question to you is, have you tried other alternatives?
Yes, I was going to answer that, Tamaka. I have approached the NNPP, to try to obtain their correspondence to INEC to also show that they had requested for INEC to come and monitor the fact that I had withdrawn as a candidate. That has not happened. I have not received any response. I have approached INEC, who obviously is waiting for further communication from the party about the circumstances. And you know that these matters, you have a window of only 14 days within which to file your case, or you'll be out of time.
So that's why that necessitated your speedy approach to the courts now.
Exactly. And of course, the fact that INEC has allowed me to start to incur unnecessary expenses and expenditure that I would ordinarily not have needed to in the first place. And this, may I add, is probably why detractors are also starting to institute legal action against me as we speak. PDP is in the process of trying to institute action against me for that same issue, when the facts are there that it was erroneous on the part of INEC and it was completely out of place for them to have done that.
Well, it looks it's a topsy-turvy situation. The way
and may I just use this opportunity to make a clarification about Section 115D, because a lot of misconceptions have been made about that provision. It says when a candidate is nominated by a party in more than one constituency. Section 152, the interpretation section, makes a clear distinction between an aspirant and a candidate. So in these circumstances, because that's another issue some people don't understand, if a candidate emerges, he can run on another platform in another party, but for the same constituency, not another constituency, and not as an aspirant. So these are things that are,
okay.
are
As
very
a
clear.
candidate.
As a candidate.
As a candidate, yes.
Okay. Well, we'll wait for the lawyers and the courts really to do justice to this, since you've said you've now instituted litigation against INEC. But let's talk about Labour Party and Benue State, where you're from. What would you say the chances are for Labour Party to really take over the government house in Makurdi come 2023, looking at the two candidates that you're going up against from the main parties, and of course the fact that your own gubernatorial candidate there is quite a controversial one, speaking about Heyman Hembe?
Well, I don't know why you say he is controversial, but in the course of his carrying out his people's mandate in the House of Representatives, obviously certain issues have occurred in his running of certain committees, but it is on record that he has performed exceptionally well as a legislator representing Vandika constituency, Vandika Konshisha federal constituency, and a lot of the progress that that constituency has experienced, it is since he came to the position as their representative. This is his fourth term in the House, and he intends to bring that experience and that commitment to development and to the advancement of his people to the government house. Now, with regards to the chances of Labour, I would allow the people themselves to make that determination, but I can tell you from the 1 million man match you saw, from the welcome that we received when we came back to the state, and from the feelers we're getting, I can assure you Benue State is going Labour.
Right.
Benue State Nigerians are tired, they're resolute about taking back their state, Benue, taking back their country. Oh. And that is what we intend to do.
You're a politician, so of course optimism is part of it.
Yeah, they're never giving great, I mean, I like the optimism, really. It has a way of, keeping them,
wait and see how that plays out and how that pans out. But for now, I have to say thank you so much to Honorable Mark Gbillah, and of course all the best with everything with regards to your litigation and all.
Thank you.
It's time for a short break. We'll be back. Stay with us.